Hello, hello, people of the internet. It's your boy Skinny Penis with a Gdansk video, yeah, live and fresh from the server of World of Warships. The most interesting, cringe new edition, and yeah, can get a bit into the gameplay, I guess. I mean, there's like two ways or like two things it does really well. You can have it spec'd for full DPM and be probably or like generally the most demented farmer, given the arcs, second best fire starter, and having smokes. You can just farm like an absolute dented turd, or you go a bit more, let's say, in the utility contest area where you go for concealment, superintendent for sure, and then you can protect or play around caps or like arms race buffs here fairly easily. And that's actually like the main problem with this ship, that the farming is insane. It has really usable and strong torps. I mean, torps become immensely powerful once you couple them with insane DPM, because it always, or like especially fire starting, it always means if you hit one torp, it's already enough for you to get the DCP out most of the times and then burn the enemy down for free, which is kind of like the stupid part about Gdansk, the fire setting with the torps. And obviously the combination of gimmicks where you get radar and smoke, which essentially means if you play it properly and patiently, you will have the option of trading a lot of HP into enemy destroyers for free. Or like get like a insane base reload, easy to hit arcs, and if you play radar mod, I mean, we're going to go into the spec in a second after the game, but if you spec the ship for for radar duration a bit with the mod instead of a speed boost mod, you get like at least 3, sometimes 4 to 5 salvos, depending obviously on your AR, depending on if your guns are turned or not. And yeah, well, the supposed downsides on it, why you didn't really know if the ship would be extremely overpowered or just like, let's say, strong, was how big of a downside is the hull really, right? And as it turns out, the hull is extremely fat, high in the water, and your turning circle is ass, but it's not as bad as it should be. Essentially, it's not enough of a downside because you're too fast straight line and you get smokes. It's the hull, like the hull is pretty maneuverable, and it has a lot of like, let's say, shitty gun angles. Like, you're not going to do a whole lot. You're not going to be able to mitigate a lot of damage when you're trying to use all your guns, which is essentially the issue with Gdansk, because it's Mogador hull, so the Mogador arcs are a problem. It's very obvious. Mogador gun arcs are essentially what makes Mogador less busted than Kleber. Like, Kleber is a top dog gunboat because the gun arcs are or the gun angles are insane. Like, you can easily fuck with people in a... That guy killed himself. Funny. I can radar the... Ah, nah, wait, I'm stupid. That was the torpedo range. Okay, that is a wasted radar. Doesn't really matter, though. Hope we can go dark here fast. Oh, wait, he's somehow spotted. I think he's in the Hydra of the... Henry, and as you can see here, 10 kilometers. Fat DD like Yamagiri. I can hit him pretty fucking easy. Not that big of an issue. I can definitely do a lot of damage to him. The radar range is just like really stupid, to be honest. I don't really understand the entire reasoning behind the radar range being 9 kilometers, because the utility you get there for is also information based. Like, you don't only radar for destroyers, like to fuck up DDs for free, but you can also just like simply radar for information. It is it's a 9 km radar. It's essentially cruiser radar, which means if I sit on a rock somewhere far forward, because I'm a DD, 7-3 concealment is bad, but it's not like bad enough, let's say. I can radar far forward, which other cruisers couldn't, without being in a position that could get them killed very easily. Also, you have to remember that you do have smokes and you do have the torps, and the torps are not only a great tool to get floodings and get DCPs out of people, but what torpedoes also do very well is protect yourself against rushes. Like, that's the thing with the what is it, Ragnar? Like, you can play far forward, but you are susceptible, very susceptible, to rushes from heavier ships. Because not having torpedoes means, obviously, big ships can just run into your face or run in your mouth, and there's nothing you can do to blow them up. But now that you got higher alpha, like slightly higher alpha Haaland torps, you obviously get the option of just blowing someone up when he comes around the corner, and it already has happened a lot. So yeah, like the entire gimmick package is like, you have a lot of utility to play for caps, and the problem with that is obviously that what was the Katsuna's radar? The problem is obviously that you're more survivable closer to the enemy than a cruiser most of the times. You don't have the smoke fire penalty, you don't have a citadel, you get a lot of HP. So, questionable how smartly balanced it is. As you can see here though, we're like playing the middle, and we're essentially like ousting or fucking up the entire mid for enemy destroyers. Like here you can see 8 kilometers. I just raided the Yamagiri and get a nice little chip damage into him. 3 volleys. Very nice damage. And now we're going to disengage from these smokes and going behind this rock, because the Yamagiri obviously sat there and torped it. It's a very, very obvious play here from him. And I hope my DDs collect the reload buff. I'm going for the HP buff, because the heal buff isn't coming up yet. And the HP buff is essentially passively buffing the permanent heal. Also, like, obviously having a permanent heal here is kind of dented on Gdansk, because Gdansk is not supposed to have a heal. So once again, it's one of these destroyers that gets a lot of value out of heal buffs in arms race, or generally like scales very well in arms race. Also, I mean, reload buffs are percentage based, damage buffs are percentage based, so you get a lot of base DPM like I have here. You obviously murder through people way easier. Problem though is that this guy is just like running at me now, and I don't have a smoke. A wee bit of a problem. I couldn't go for the HP buff, which is sad. Also actually going to lose a lot of HP here, if not die directly. That depends a bit on my teammates actually doing something about this Seattle that is running at me, which would be really good if they would. Because, I mean, I have a lot of DPM, but, I mean, I have to survive here, because if I don't survive, the heal buffs that I already have are kind of useless. Hey, he's radaring now. Well, I mean, he's kind of killing himself for no reason. He switched target though, which is really good, so I can live. Not having AP is a bit of a downside here. It's also like a weird balancing factor. Not having AP doesn't make the ship bad at all. It makes it worse, sure, because with these kind of gun arcs, French AP would be nuts. You'd be easily able to fuck people over for free with AP. But you have to remember that the HDPM and RX is so crazy that the ship is still completely broken. It would just be more broken. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, if it had AP, it had like means to deal with anything. Also, AP would allow you to fuck up cruisers that make mistakes super easy. I said because of the gun arcs and the AP penetration that the French nation has base. So it'd be some sort of super crazy broadside cruiser remover for free. Yeah, well, we don't have a kill yet. Game only had the 1 BB. No, actually 2, but here the DK was in base, the Thunder was camping in Narnia, so... Okay, we don't get kills this game. Well, we have still 3 raiders left. We have 2 damage buffs and a reload buff. And I have some AR. Dude, what the fuck are you doing here, man? Piss off with your dim smoke. Like, this is so unnecessary. Just fuck off, bro. Hello? Greek demon? Are you dented? Are you, like, moronic? Yeah, obviously I could play a bit more aggressive here in the middle because I had the heal buffs. I saw that, so you see this on gunboat destroyers. Obviously the DDs get a lot of value out of the heals because they have the highest percentage based heal. Submarines are also a bit broken with that. Nice, the lion is dodging the heal buff on purpose. But in general, the way you can play when you have heal buffs is obviously more aggressive, but it's very rare that you get arms race with that many early heal buffs or whatever. Otherwise, the ship is not really some DD that likes to cap itself a lot. It's more DD that likes to deny enemy cap. It's easy. You can be safe with it. You don't want to necessarily put this fat hull with shit gun arcs inside of a cap, and yeah, essentially put yourself out there and offer the enemy an easy way to get rid of you, or essentially play around the big downside of this ship, which is that it's fat and turns slowly. So like you want to stay outside of torpedo alleys. Don't want to smoke up with your smoke in a spot where there's definitely torpedoes coming. It's better to have it more as a flanker. Like you can deny flanks completely with your radar and DPM. Like since the radar is so far or like such high distance radar, you can just keep the DDs away for free, which means flanks or kept denying is exactly what's your strength. And then when the game eases up a bit, theoretically eases up a bit, you can go for caps yourself, but only later in the game. Essentially you can go for caps safely. Otherwise it's a very risky endeavor. The shimmer turned back, which is a bit weird, honestly. We're not gonna do a lot of damage to this kind of carrier because angled funny. But I think my Venezia and shit is so deep on his flank. Gonna be an easy kill. I mean, decent damage this game. Obviously there wasn't a lot to farm. Oh, we blew up the shimmer with the torps. That's pretty good. Not a lot of damage to farm, sadly. But apparently EU for Gdansk is a bit weird. Like it had to sweat a bit hard and literally only go for farm, probably even lose games on purpose to get the farm in, because EU is very, very wicked at the moment. But the DD can definitely go for some sort of 200k nearly average. Like 180 to 90 is very feasible on it, believe it or not. I mean, we have 192 in this kind of matchmaking, which is already crazy, but it was arms race, got a lot of buffs, also got the heal buff, back to 15,000, shit. Like, lots of assistance here, scales very well. Yeah, a bunch of XP too, because I raided a bunch of DDs and stuff. That guy weirdly inviting me, no. We can go into the spec real quick. I personally... Oh, stop it. I personally... Okay, we just let it rot there. I personally run more utility things. I personally believe concealment is really needed on the chip, unless you go for the turbo super ultra farm angle, where you drop like these two and go for BFT and Fearless Brawl. It still works because you have the gun range and the gun arcs, and you have still 3 smokes. So just farming is possible. You play it more as a cruiser then. I personally think it's just a bit too boring because I have played many DDs like that. Here you go. The ship itself profits a lot though from more radar because they're fast cooldown but short duration, and conceal. Because I mean the entire strength of the package is that your concealment is decent. Kind of, if you spec for it, 7-3, you still like outspot some gunboats pretty okay-ish, which you then need because otherwise they blow you up. You don't have any sort of plating or something. And I mean, the strength of the ship is that you, as I said, deny caps or deny flanks with your utility and DPM. And that's kind of what I want to play for it too. Also, the spec allows you to take turret traverses, which is kind of needed. That's the French shit turrets that turn very slow. And for the modules, I personally, since also I take Superintendent, which means I have 5 speed boosts, I can press them 20 million times per game. I run reload on the radar. No, not reload on the radar, duration on the radar. Radar mod, because it allows you to get essentially at least one more volley out. If you get a nice blind fire shot in, it's kind of 2 shots extra sometimes with AR and so on. So you become extremely disgusting against destroyers, especially destroyers without heals. Like a Haaland is still fucked though, because it's too fat. Like something like a Shimmer, you don't do that much damage at 8 kilometers if you radar him, but he doesn't have a heal, so you like slowly chip him down. Haalands or so, they get a heal, but they eat way more shit because they're so fat and immaneuverable, and you essentially run Mogado Orcs. The rest is always the same, and the base DPM is nuts, but AFT is really needed because this is like the strength of the ship. It's like the most demented farmer, kind of. You just hit people easily at 14 kilometers, and you're the second best fire starter, which means like Vampire sets, I don't know, slightly more fires, 0.2 per minute or something, which is not a lot. But Vampire doesn't hit ships consistently at 14 kilometers. I mean, you don't even spec for 14 kilometers on a Vamp because the arcs are so shit. It's daring arcs. Same for like daring or so. Also insane fire starter, yeah, but arcs are not that good. With a Gdansk, I can sit 12, 13 kilometers away and farm people for free. Oh, wicked, we have arms race again. So, yeah, that is kind of crazy. Gdansk is one of these DDs that are insanely strong and powerful in arms race. Not because I can collect the buffs easily myself. That is like easiest done with very great concealment gunboats or fast gunboats, something like Marceau, something like a Vampire even. Stuff that's really well concealed and immediately or instantaneously trades torpedo boats that also have great concealment out. Like a Vamp has Hydro, has nuts DPM. If you run into a Gearing, Shimmer, Haaland or whatever in a buff, you kill him, you don't die yourself, and you can probably collect the buff. In Gdansk, you can just like sit in front of it and kite like last game and just watch if there's a DD coming for it. Last game it didn't happen. Enemy DDs didn't int themselves into the buffs. Also, like the last game was a decently long arms race game, honestly. It was a stomp, but not that bad, just because the DDs, for once, didn't kill themselves. This game might be totally different. We have 4 DDs again. It's arms race. We might just have to watch destroyers kill themselves into buffs. Also, the ship itself is an absolute turbo griefer if you play it with another DD. Especially another smoke DD, obviously. You can literally smoke bot that thing. But in general, a DD that spots outside of your smoke, so you can focus on farming and keeping like radar on a cap. Or it also scales toxically well with radar cruisers, especially some shit like Moskva. Because if your radar is just essentially the additional bonus of getting a bit more damage on a DD or catching it for information, you can always have the radar of the cruiser that is long duration and that allows you to kill the DD. You can always have that in the back pocket and actually use it then to kill the destroyer. It's a really toxic combination. I mean, in general, any sort of smoke DD scales well with like a Moskva because you can smoke up and get damage for free. Usually you also need a cruiser to do that for you because yeah, obviously, so DDs are not supposed to have radar smoke combinations. I mean, the entire game is so power crept that Black, for example, isn't broken anymore. So they, I guess, thought, let's make it funny and bring the Gdansk, which has they think probably the radar is fine because idiots won't be able to plan properly for it, which is probably the entire issue with this ship. That it's an idiot magnet or an idiot beta ship. Like, stupid people will play that ship for am I on my radar here? Interesting. They're not yet Okay, these two are like grouping together. I mean, if I had torpedoes now, I would torp their smoke and both would probably blow up. Um, the ship has some gimmicks that are kind of like an idiot magnet. You can have, or you will see stupid people play torpedo specs on it and stuff. That's definitely going to happen. Giving it torpedoes is probably worse for the player base in general to deal with, because giving it torpedoes means that people will spec for it, people will play for it, and people will misplay the actual strength of the ship. Won't play to it because they're like, yeah, it's an idiot baiter. Torpedoes on destroyers are pretty much an idiot baiter. Like if you put torpedoes on gunboats, it's always like probably ending in 1 or 2 people having a complete and utter retard spec on it. I don't know why he's outside of his smoke. As you can see here, very fun and engaging to play against Gdansk. Having like a DD that is able to raid our smokes is definitely the play and what we needed in World of Warships these days. I'm very convinced it is. The Holland is in the middle of the map, where Yoshino died. Thankfully Hannover and Satsuma are playing very passive. Which is good, by the way, which is good. Okay, we got a heal buff here, which is great. Maybe the Santander helps me against the Holland. Maybe Raiders him. He's actually hard lighting him. Very interesting, very interesting. Here 9 kilometers with these arcs. I mean, see, I can easily hit this guy and put a lot of damage into him. Sadly, my Santander decided it's time to kill himself. Yeah, he actually decided it's time to completely blow up. Very interesting, very interesting. Definitely the play. Now I have the issue that the Annapolis can go into a very far forward position. Very, very, very unfortunate for me. Not a good position to have an Annapolis in. Thankfully we killed at least some ships in the enemy team. We killed their double Kidda division. They might be unable to get that heal buff on the other side. Don't know how it looks with the Stalin. Okay, the Stalin is still very healthy, which is a problem, obviously. I can maybe get torpedoes on the buff. Have a look. DD maybe eats them. I have to probably cower next to a battleship now, because there is coming for me. That's very bad. Maybe my EV pops a fighter. The straight line speed is crazy here. Like, as you see, you're very fast in a straight line. Nope, I didn't. Poop. These torpedoes could hit, I think. Also, he opened up in the middle of nowhere, so maybe he's actually getting spotted. No. Okay, cool. Guess I have to leave the smoke immediately again. Very nice that he's not spotted us. Very nice, very nice. Yep, I have to leave the smoke immediately because he's probably gonna run at this and radar it. Yep, there you go. There you have him. Very, 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 very good team here. Yep, it's very cool that this guy is not spotted. I'm definitely able to play the game now. Trust. Nah, we have him lit. Crazy. No, we don't have him lit. Better, even. Can these clowns please spot this dog piss Annapolis? It's not that hard, is it? Man, bro, seriously. Holy shit, is it that hard? You fucking absolute brain damaged monkey. Our Satsuma just blew up. Very cool. Yeah, we're looking at a nice little loss here. Nice, everyone is dying, cool. Arms race in a nutshell. Playing with idiots. Our carrier is literally fucking dork shit. You won't spot this guy. I can spot him myself now because of the fire. Our Cond is useless. Our super BBs were useless. This is a very fucked game. Cond isn't even shooting the Annapolis. Because our Conda rather decided to go behind a rock. And be more useless than he already was. Very cool. Have to gun down an Annapolis. Nice, we actually did something. That is fucking crazy. That is literally crazy. Insane game. You just have to watch super ships be dog shit on my side and super ships in the enemy team actually play the game or something. I fucking know. They have all the buffs. It's kind of a disaster, more or less. I could theoretically burn down a Stalingrad rather fast. Sadly, our Malta is fly broadside to these people. Our Malta detonated or death struck by the Satsuma. I am literally playing with only monkey trash, so amazing, really. Interesting, I can't get fires either this game. Got them earlier when it didn't matter, now it matters and I don't get them. Cool. Yeah, well, he has a damage buff and a double reload buff, so... Quite the fucked situation, I tell you. Nice, I really don't get fires. There you go. I mean, middle is capped, so the game is over for me. Yeah, he blind fires me out. Not even 10 minutes, my entire team was dead. Well, there's not really much you can do. If Wolfenberg is your Malta, you already know he's dog shit and sucks dick. Cheetah 84 is your Satsuma, you already know he's dog shit and sucks dick. Your fucking Uchakov name is Ingrel, you already know he's dog shit and sucks dick. This guy's Russian server transfer, sucks dick. Very cool. Also, my Conda is absolutely autistic, like he did nothing the entire game. My super ships were just like all three of them demented. I don't know if you noticed it, but the Uchakov got rammed by the Georgia. We'll play one more. Uchakov got rammed by the Georgia on the side. Georgia just ran headfirst into him, and he actually just like got rammed, whatever. And my Satsuma went from 90k HP to 0 in like 1 second. My Malta parked 10 million miles away from a rock, was refusing to spot anything important in the middle that I could kill, and parked flat broadside to everything. So yeah, well, I mean, overall nothing you can do there. Doesn't really matter what DD you play, very little you can do. In general, like, it doesn't matter what kind of ship you play there. It's like whatever, you get super ship matchmaking, you end up with 3 spastic bots and super ships, it's over. Super ships matchmaking is just the worst, hands down. Like there's not even comparison to anything. The moment I always say the moment you have more than 2 super ships per team, which was 3 now, but it is worse with 4 or 5. It's exponentially worse. The games are just dog shit. Fucking horrible. Yeah, not really a lot I could do there. Then again, I could have probably killed the kiddos faster if I would have known that they're running it in there. But our carrier didn't really do much apart from spot the Haaland once into his planes and then go for something, but nothing like really useful. He could have torped the Annapolis in the middle. He could have spotted him in general. It would have helped. We could have killed him earlier. Would have helped me out a great lot. Also, spotting the destroyers in front of a gunboat DD is obviously helpful. But yeah, I don't think these people really understand how you can easily win a game just looking at one of your teammates' position and thinking like, hey, well, if I spot a fucking DD in front of him and he's sitting in a smoke and he's playing a gunboat, well, maybe he can just kill the DD and we win the game, or like at least that side or a flank or whatever. Yeah, whatever. Being a bit blessed here, ironically, it's not really a blessing. I get mid spawns a lot. Mid spawns not really like nice for Gdansk. Best way to play this ship would be flanks. Also last game, flanks would have suited me a bit more. Mid spawns always end up in the fact that you can maybe deny the cap, do a bit of damage to the DD, but mid caps are generally the most scary ones, or the caps with the highest amount of risk involved in them. So only a few destroyers can actually get it, or if you have full information on the enemy team. Like assuming my carriers would actually try to spot everything, and I had full information on DDs and radar cruisers, then I can maybe play for middle. Especially like radar cruisers, if you have their position known, you're suddenly becoming a very toxic top dog, and you're... That was actually interesting. This guy is running it in. I'm not gonna reverse for this, I'm just gonna run out front. Try to fuck him up there. Yeah, I should have not like gone behind the rock. I was thinking this guy might probably run it in between here. But well, build milk under the bridge. Oh wait, fuck, I can't actually be here. The submarine is a scary little retard. Well, I hate submarines with all my fucking heart. They're so cancer. Trying to figure out a way how my carrier understands that the submarine has to be spotted, so he doesn't run fucking headfirst into us. And the submarine doesn't even have diving capacity. Would be very simple for my battleships or carrier to just spot him and kill him. We have a little Öland running at our sub over there. Our sub is just shotgunning him out. Interesting. World of Warships 2023. It's an amazing game, I assure you. Okay, that guy doesn't have diving capacity anymore, so he dies. I had to dodge it. It's always the same with destroyers, man, especially fat gunboats like this one. If there's a submarine, well, you just gotta fucking run away, man. Nothing else you can do, man. You just gotta accept that it's cancer. It's just ass. But I mean, they hinted a DD and a sub here. The daring is also already low. So I guess it's a fairly easy game. GG, not hard. Oh, interesting. He actually went over there. Oh. Yeah, kind of hard to like play this ship for utility and then have these games happen. A bit annoying for sure. Because very hard for me to get value out of my spec if there's suicidal darings, Östergötlands and submarines. That's not very fun. I didn't really see that this guy would still be spotted. Should have killed him. Now my sub dies. Man, I really don't care though. Kinda deserves it, so whatever. Okay, that is a problem. He's parking outside of my his radar range, I think. There is the radar, but I have a rock in between me and him, so this guy, I guess it's fine. Daring actually died. I'm out of the radar again. I mean, it's only a like only a Salem radar. I was a bit weird here because I smoked in front of the cap, right before radaring, so because I thought that Daring would be on the right and I could catch him and fuck him up. In the end, it turned out he ran over to B, so I could have already gotten C cap, for free, kind of. I do have a carrier that is a bit AFK, I think, or he's striking on the other side. I just guess it's fine. Can't really open up here, open water. The map doesn't suit me that well for farming. Let Torp the Salems move forward. I don't think he will peek out of the rock. That would be rather suicidal of him. But now that he doesn't have a radar, I can just park in the cap my next smoke and start farming people. I think the torpedoes should not be on target, obviously, because he's actually like peeking away from the rock, nearly giving the people on the other side an angle. I don't know why he went that far forward, but hey. Oh my. Yeah, there you go. Now you get citadel to death. Good job, Salem. You really did it. I love it when people dodge my torps or my guns by killing them even faster. Like, peeking there is demented. Makes sense at all. But hey, we got the kill. Oh. Now we can switch to the Quivers. The Quivers and the Tirpitz obviously sad. Both of them completely alone. No like Haaland or A cruiser next to them. So the dented moronic Kaga is just farming them both out for free. Which is obviously bad for us, because I mean this is exactly what we want to farm in a Gdansk. Well, yeah. I mean, how did you play it? Combination of fucking Smaland gameplay, kind of a bit Smaland Ragnar gameplay, and Harugumo smoke up and farm moments. Very simple, very effective. Just AFT concealment. I think if you go for utility on the ship, also let's say inexperienced players can still get great use out of it, because I mean it's not hard to smoke up with these arcs and farm people. It's gonna happen more often than not, and it's super effective on this ship. Fire setting capabilities and stuff are insane, so easy to hit, everything. DPM feels turbo surreal. I said it on stream as well. The DPM is way too high. Like if you're used to French gunboats or something like Ragnar, that have good arcs, like Kleb or Ragnar, that have good arcs, but have like obviously the downside of not having the fast reload, and then you pick a reload boost on Kleb and you're like, wow, this is crazy reload. And now you play this ship and it's essentially Kleb reload all day long. Like my ship has a permanent reload boost. It feels really, really wrong. It is also wrong, because the only thing that the Frenchies have above this is they're a bit faster and they have the saturation, but they can't just randomly smoke up and farm people. Neither do they have 10-kilometer torps with a 2.3-kilometer stealth torp range, which is unironically crazy to have on this kind of DD. I said it multiple times, the strength of Smaland torps is the flooding, the one flooding that you can get, or even Marceau torps and stuff. Like, that's the strength of the ships. You have an insane gunboat with toxic fire setting capabilities. And you can just... oh, nice, I don't get to rush this guy now. Is he even still here? Yeah, well, cool, I don't get to rush him. There's no way, bro. This is so fucked. Nice, nice, nice. It was literally a second later. I could have gotten an additional kill here. Did I actually hit a torp there? Did it register? Yeah, it did register. Wow, one actually hit. 1 second longer and I got the entire death strike. Oh, that's unfortunate, man, as a last game. That's unfortunate. Not even 100k. I do have to admit that, first of all, the utility spec with conceal and radars and stuff is more for winning games anyway. But also since I suffered through so many shit games on EU, I'm like already done and over it with trying to farm the highest damage on this account at least. On NA, for example, I played 10 games, had 200 average. On EU, I'll just blow up to cancer, or like EU people just int or play perma base. So it's like the entire server is just a literal shit show at this stage. Yeah, well, if you don't play to the, and then you also start playing the ship right after it's released on the patch weekend and patch day even, and yeah, well, kind of blew up a lot there. In any case, though, the ship is way too overtuned, way too busted. I don't expect it to be nerfed, honestly, because they don't nerf anymore, kind of. Also, I don't think it will overperform the moment more and more idiots get it into their hands. Because I said, like, there's it's an easy death trap to sit in a smoke with this thing. You eat torps. It's an easy idiot bait with the torpedoes that you have torps yourself, so people spec for it. Also, lots of people will play it like specifically for DD hunting, which is not really like the entire purpose of the ship. It does it well, and it does it in a very, very hard to counter way with the smokes and the radars. But the main selling point of the ship is smoke with 14.4 AFT range and insane DPM and fire setting capabilities. 14.4, yeah. And like a permanent reload boost. So like the strength is that you just burn everything into the ground if you know where to park and you get the right opportunity. I guess that's it for Gdansk. It's hilariously toxic. I personally wouldn't touch certain destroyers at this stage, or currently at the moment. I wouldn't touch like Haalands, I wouldn't touch Shimmer, Gearing, Daring. Very hard to play. At the moment, there's also obviously a bit of like, not played that much or spammed that much, but there are games where you have two Gdansks, and if you're as unlucky as to play like a Daring or a Shimmer and you run into a flank where two Gdansk spawns, it's kind of over. Two Gdansks chain raider you so often and so much that you're kind of fucked. Also, Wargaming forgets about the fact that if you run raider consumables, certain cruisers or certain battleships, but especially certain cruisers, profit insanely from that radar. Like a Venezia only needs that one shot and then it's on reload anyway, so it doesn't matter. You just raider it, the Venezia aims for, I don't know, 3-4 seconds, gets the right shot, shoots, salvo is out. Even if you go dark afterward, all the heavy cruisers or even the battleships get one volley, and that's like already enough. You can do it 5 times to an enemy DD, and you can do it from essentially safe distance. That's it for Gdansk, and I guess I see you on stream when I spam it a bit more. I'm definitely going to play it more, because it's hilariously relaxed and chill with the spec I'm running. I can just like smoke and raider DDs. But yeah, I would get it. It's it's either in the two categories of completely broken and needs to be limited in competitive, or it's completely useless and to be ignored. This one here is the coin landed on the side of the broken shit. Castille, the next cruiser line, is on the fucking useless side. And so we continue into the future of World of Warships with only either ships being completely broken or absolutely useless. With that, I'm out, and I wish you a great and successful week.